All right, go ahead.
Okay, for our project, we had advocacy and professional organizations. And the advocacy organizations are basically attempts to influence public policy through pleading or arguing. And it says advocacy encompasses a wide range of activities that influence decision makers. For example, lobbying, public health. It is normally a nonprofit organization. So they are more influence than action. And then professional organizations are also normally nonprofit or coordinate ideas to better public policy in certain areas such as health, education, and politics as well. They do things like certification, and I'd say they're a little more action than advocacy, but a little less advertising.
Okay, so for each organization, there are certain roles. When regarding the advocacy organization, the role in advocacy groups can change depending on whether you are looking at state or federal, and the advocacy group purpose is to gain political commitment, policy support, social acceptance, and system support for a particular health goal or program. Advocacy group membership, these groups vary in size, influence, and motive. Majority of members of these groups are on a voluntary basis. The professional organization, the role of professional organization is to generate energy and to provide the work needed to maintain a healthy profession that advocates for the needs of its clients. Professional organizations often have members that are typically mandated and some that are volunteers.
There are a lot of organizations that do advocacy and do professional work, but one of the main ones is the American Nurses Association because it represents 3.6 million registered nurses. And I believe we'll learn more about this organization later in the slides too. Another one is the National Association of Healthcare Advocacy Consultants, which focuses more on the clients and informing them on general health care decisions, like what to do if they're sick, where to go, what type of doctors to use, and everything. And one of the main professional organizations is the American Association of Healthcare Administrative Management. It provides education and certification.
So for the services provided by these advocacy organizations, we have some examples of different types of advocacy organizations and what they do. There's a quote that said, "Patient advocacy regards any activity which ultimately benefits the patient." Some examples of government advocacy groups are Health and Human Services, which use HIPAA, which is basically a program that protects the privacy of clients and patients. And then there's the National Institutions of Health, Centers for Disease Control, Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality, the FDA, Institute of Medicine, sorry. And then there is individual patient advocation and advocates. They are healthcare assistants who are in the beginning stages of building a career and assisting patients in this way. Many of them worked as case managers or social workers. They work directly with the patient and are highly trustworthy. They offer medical assistance, decision-making assistance, insurance assistance, home health assistance, elder and geriatric care, legal assistance, and health coaches. And just from personal experience, my daughter had a autoimmune disorder and cancer, and we had a individual patient advocate, and she helped us to know what was available to us through insurance and which services were available to us locally that I wouldn't have been able to find on my own. So they can be very helpful. And then there are not-for-profit and for-profit advocacy services. And some examples of not-for-profit are the American Cancer Society, American Heart Association, American Diabetes Association, Alzheimer's Association. These organizations advocate for patients with specific ailments and earn funding for research and improved treatment protocols for these diseases. Another example of that I've, again, with my daughter is the OMS Foundation. She had an orphan disorder, and that organization provided funding for research because it's 1 out of every 10 million kids. So the way she was able to get her treatment and those treatment protocols and that research was partly funded by that organization. For-profit advocacy programs, examples are Links Care, Patient Pal, Health Advocate, and Pinnacle Care. These are groups that advocate for patients and assist them in receiving health care that they need and get assistance with healthcare billing issues, but they are funded by organizations. Other examples are patient advocates. In hospitals, these include hospital advocates who belong to the American Hospital Association through their affiliation with the national group called the Society for Healthcare Consumer Advocacy. Patients often seek their help when they are frustrated or require assistance for everything from needing a ride home from the hospital to needing a hospital bill explained. It's important to know that they do work for the hospital, though, and have the hospital's interests in mind as well. Patient safety consumerism advocates. Examples of these are the National Patient Safety Foundation, Institute for Healthcare Improvement, National Patient Advocate Foundation, and PULSE, Persons for United Limiting Substandards and Errors. So they essentially fight against malpractice, and they want the standards to be high in patient care. So, and here are just a couple of pictures of examples of advocates helping patients.
Okay, so it is possible for an organization to not only enhance the careers of its members, but to also serve to protect its members regarding local issues. All the organizations I am going to talk about can provide a professional purpose as well as an advocacy purpose. The first organization is the American Medical Association. This organization works to improve patient health, provide better medical training, and also stay involved with the most important issues in medicine. Members of this organization include physicians that are a doctor of medicine or a doctor of osteopathic medicine who have these degrees but are completing their fellowship, and medical students who are on their way to obtain their MD or DO degree. Advocacy topics this organization is involved with. Some of these include the Affordable Care Act, medical liability reform, Medicare, and many more. Some of these include, this organization also provides many opportunities for physicians to get paid or gain more experience. The AMA allows physicians to achieve support from other physicians that will help them improve their practice. The second organization is the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, or PCRM for short. This organization works to end prescriptions and instead focus on the diet of individuals. They also work to end animal testing, which most scientists conduct experiments with, to find new research of certain diseases in the world. Within the Physicians Committee, members are given the opportunity to participate in clinical research, become a spokesperson for health, and be involved with important issues. The Physicians Committee emphasizes the need for healthy nutrition in our everyday life. They believe we can stop treating people by preventing them from getting sick in the first place. They also work to influence federal policies involving health. The PCRM provides information and materials that enhance a physician's knowledge, which positively increases their experience with their patients. Lastly, the organization of the American Nurses Association that provides a professional and 3.6 million registered nurses are a part of this organization. As a result of being a part of the ANA, nurses can be involved in a leadership opportunity, notified on job openings, and also allowed to network with other nurses and provide access to professional tools. The ANA also works to strengthen the voice of nurses when regarding issues such as safe staffing and nursing workforce development. After learning more about these organizations, we can see how they can both provide a professional function as well as an advocacy function. They take a stand on certain issues, but also provide benefits to its members that will enhance their careers. And these are just some of their logos they have.
So for most of these organizations, all you have to do to join is to go to the websites and fill out an application. But most of them also require you to either be a student in med school or a doctor for a certain amount of time. And depending on if you are in med school and how many years you have been there, or if you're a nurse or a physician, is how much the fee is to join, monthly or yearly, or some of them who don't ask for a fee ask for a donation. And you're required to subscribe usually to their magazine. That way you can participate more after you're a member. And you can renew your membership yearly. So these are all the websites and that we use to make the slides and to get all our information. So yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. That was very well done. Covering a lot of good information.
Thanks.
There was 2 on there. There's a lot of advocacy organizations that you guys didn't talk that you did talk about because there are so many out there, and that's totally fine. But there's 2 that just for testing purposes coming up that the class needs to be aware of. There's the Federation of American Hospitals, which is an advocacy group that's for-profit hospitals, and then the American Hospital Association, which is for not-for-profit. So,
Okay.
Just so you're aware.
Sorry.
So some questions that I have for you guys. We'll start with Brittany, and then Brooklyn, and then Sierra. Same question is for all of you: is what was the most interesting thing that you learned as you were studying this topic?
Well, for me, I found it intriguing when I was reading about hospital advocates who work in hospitals and help patients. I actually found that kind of intriguing as maybe a possible career path, well, or even an individual working on my own. But as I kind of explained, I've had advocates help us when she's 9 now, but when my daughter was 2, she had cancer and an autoimmune disorder, and it was just a big mess, and most doctors have never heard of it, so no one really knew what to do or where to go. And we had advocates at Primary Children's, and we had an advocate in Rexburg that helped us find resources there. And just reading about it made me think that, I would like to be able to help people in that way, because that meant the world to us at that time. So
That's great. Resources available to help you out.
Yeah.
Definitely a difficult time. I hope it was able to make it a little bit easier.
Yeah, definitely did.
Great. All right, Brooklyn, same question.
I thought it was interesting that there are so many advocacy groups that are just kind of how she said, there for information. But I feel like it's a preventative action that they tell us how to do things and where to go so that we can act on our own. Like, they don't provide all the means for us to act, if that makes sense. But they give us all the information we need to get through whatever medical issue we have. So, I don't know, I kind of related it religiously too, that we have to find our own answers, but God gives us all the necessary tools that we need, like the scriptures. That's the best way I could describe it.
That's great. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, so on my topic, since I researched more about the programs themselves, these organizations, I found it interesting that to join these certain organizations, it was a good amount of money to be a part of them. Maybe not to the doctors themselves, but to me, it seemed like a large sum. And I guess after researching more, I figured that all the benefits these organizations provide and see all the tasks they accomplish, they need that money to accomplish what they are set out to do. So I found that interesting.
Great. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to stop recording now.